but they got the knowledge you crave. Hard hitting insight gonna make you win. Listen up closely, let the games begin. Top pick sleepers every week I spin. The FF universe here to help you win. The fantasy football universe.
And welcome in, folks. We're back with another Saturday Fantasy Football Roundtable. Once again, it is myself, Jesse Moore, and the other half of the Fantasy Football universe, the guy that you see all the time, everywhere, 24/7, 365, Mr. Jeremy Schulman. How are you doing today?
Yeah, man. Just living life. It is post-Halloween blues or, nice, relaxing, do not a goddamn thing because you spent all night, having your kids run around, eating candy and pizza, that kind of crap. But they had a good time. We're having a good time. It's time to talk fantasy and get ready for week 9.
Yeah, I hope you all had a fun Halloween. You get to dress up, or if you do not like to dress up, you still enjoyed yourself because we were doing it last night with family, and we were walking around. Certain houses had things posted on their doors. They're like, not celebrating Halloween. We're like, okay, we're not going to bother these people. But, yeah, but it was fun. It was downpour. We got a little wet. It's always interesting with the kids. All sorts of candy. You get home, kids jacked out of their mind, and we're trying to go to sleep. Doesn't work out too well, but such is life. So sometimes plans don't go according to how you started out the season. What we're going to look forward moving into the holiday season is players to acquire to kind of boost your lineup rest of season. We got a few different positions we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the big three. So we're going to do 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a quarterback, and tight end. So one of each for everybody. Let's start out with the wide receivers. But for those of you who don't know, we're going to talk about our Discord, which you always do. Come join us over there. The link is in the bio, as you can see right here. Don't forget that. We're there. We're degenerates all the time, 24/7, 365. We talk ball. If you want to come join us, have a good time, see all the fun content we do, and talk to us in real time, come join us on the Discord. Or that, you can find us all over these places. But enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get into these positions. So, Jeremy, you had a couple guys that you were interested in targeting at the wide receiver position. Let's talk first about the homegrown target, a.k.a. Mr. Steph Diggs of the New England Patriots. Why do you think he is a good guy to go out and get on your teams for the rest of the season?
Oh, damn. I'm not even prepared, Jesse. What the hell?
Oh.
I got to share my screen and figure out what number he is. What the hell? He's number 2. First number 2. Good Lord. Steph Diggs, man. We got to talk. Hey, we got it. All right. Throw that bad boy up there.
Oh, yes.
All
beautiful.
right.
There we are.
All right.
We're back in business, folks.
Okay. So Steph Diggs is my guy who, look, he's a bit of a homer pick because, of course, I'm a Pats fan. But we've also seen what Kayshon Boutte has been doing in this offense, what Hunter Henry did earlier in this offense. But no Ramondre Stevenson right now this week. Travion Henderson doesn't get used by this team. And Drake May has been absolutely balling out. It's really interesting because over the first 5 weeks of the season, he had a really nice target share. It was around 7 to 8 average targets per game. The last 3 weeks, that's come down a bit, but they played New Orleans, Tennessee, and Cleveland and didn't need to do a ton on offense in those games. And of course, Boutte was catching the touchdowns. Boutte, I love him. He's a great player, but it's really just not sustainable what he's doing. This was kind of the QJ of, the beginning of the season where he's living off of these touchdowns because the targets aren't there for him. The targets for Steph Diggs have still been there, 7 and 5 over the last 2 weeks. And the schedule is getting a little bit more difficult, maybe not against Atlanta, or a little easier rather, but a little more difficult because teams are going to put up points. Maybe not against Atlanta. Atlanta's been struggling. But then Tampa, New York Jets, Cincinnati, the Giants, Buffalo, Baltimore, and the Jets again. These teams can, move the football. They can put up points and force the Pats into more pass-heavy game scripts. But at the same time, Steph Diggs looks completely healthy. He's rounding out in this offense. And the biggest thing for me is he's only caught 1 touchdown on the season. There are very few wide receivers in the game who have more expected touchdowns based on their usage than Steph Diggs. I think maybe Tet used to be that, but he's scored now, right? So Steph Diggs is up there with the best of them, and you can expect the targets to flow his way. I think he's utilized more here in the red zone. So I really like Steph Diggs as a second half. And I just mentioned the schedule. They're going to have to score against Tampa in week 10, Cincinnati, the New York Giants, who put up points, Buffalo, Baltimore, the Jets. If the Jets can score on this team, which they can if they can figure it out. So almost every single game here, the offenses are going to be bringing it. And Drake May's been dealing. So I love Steph Diggs as a nice, cheaper target at wide receiver.
Yeah, I think he's a good one. I'm with you there, Jamie. That sometimes same old booty gets old. I don't know. If you find the right booty, though, you could be good for the rest of your life. So we'll see.
It's true.
And maybe Steph Diggs is that guy, right? What I like about Diggs is his target rate is top 14 in the NFL. It's 27%. It's still really good. His issue is always routes run in this offense. 2 weeks ago, he pushed over 90%. I was like, oh, hey, look at that. They actually want to keep him on the field more. It is trending in the right direction, which makes him a little bit more less boom busty, right? As you're like wide receiver 3 with wide receiver 2 upside. I think he's good. Clearly, they like him. He features a role in that offense. Kyle Williams has been non-existent. It's really been Keyshawn Boutte. Him as the only 2 wide receivers on the team doing anything. And to your point, all those offenses, it makes a ton of sense. You're playing, hopefully Burrow's back for the Cincinnati game, but even if you get Flacco doing that, right? You get Lamar later on in the season, they're going to have to outscore Lamar. So it's all kind of working out for them, and hopefully a healthy Baker in a couple of weeks. Another guy that's going to push the offense and go. So they could be in shootouts like you talked about, and that's perfect for Steph Diggs because they're going to count on him a lot. So I guess what I wonder is, like, what's your kind of price you're looking to offer for him and that you would be comfortable paying to get him on your team?
I've offered, which I think is pretty reasonable. This is a 16-teamer, but it's also full IDP. I offered a third-round pick. He's an older player, right? Was he 31 years old? I think you can get a second-round pick in that format. I'm not excited about offering a second-round pick in a 12-teamer, but because he hasn't really performed, I think you can get away with a third-round pick. I imagine he's early third. Maybe you can get 2 thirds. Maybe you can send a younger player. Maybe you can send a booty for Steph Diggs. I don't mind a deal like that in Dynasty at all. If you're talking about positional, a running back, maybe trying to think, maybe a DeAndre Swift, who's still injured here, maybe a Kyle Monungai in an offense where, the running backs have thrived, but Swift should be back. There's a lot of options here for you, but we're not talking about a massive buy, which is what I like about it.
No. Yeah, I think particularly in Dynasty is a lot cheaper, right? Because he is older. So the name that's like kind of come up in the Discord a lot, who I think is a really good guy to kind of use, is Torrey Horton. He's one of those guys you can kind of use to move into a Diggs somewhere in that range where late second-ish value. I think it's fine. I think if you can get that done, absolutely. I wouldn't overpay necessarily for Diggs, so I would kind of like find the right pocket you're talking about. Unlike the next wide receiver who we're going to talk about, this guy is the entire offense. He is everything for that they do. I think the price on him is a little bit more expensive, but it's reasonable why the price is more expensive because he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. That is enough talking about that. That'll be Mr. Nico Collins of the Houston Texans, who I think is actually a really good suggestion. What necessarily stands out about Nico besides him just being the alpha wide receiver attached to CJ Stroud, who just kind of can do it all? Is there anything particular that stands out to you of why you're targeting him as opposed to other wide receivers in his range?
Not particularly. He's just really had a few down games, and the receptions haven't been there despite the targets being there. I don't know this statistic, and Jesse, maybe you know the name of this statistic. Maybe it doesn't exist, but the difference between the number of targets and the number of receptions players have, right? You expect to see those lower catch percentages, I guess, of the downfield threats, like the Jameson Williams types guys who, might receive 8 targets, but then only catch 3 balls. But this has been Nico Collins all season. Listen to this: 3 receptions on 5 targets, 3 on 9, 8 on 11. So he had that game we like to see against Jacksonville, 4 on 6, 4 on 5, and 4 on 10 targets. So I don't know if this is a CJ Stroud connection issue. We know CJ Stroud doesn't have time behind that awful offensive line, but he kind of seemed like he figured it out last week against San Francisco. But in the last 3 weeks, we've only seen Nico catch 4 balls for 27 yards because they had a bye. They played a tough Seattle defense, and then he was out last week against San Francisco. So for me, he's a buy low. He's a what have you done for me lately kind of guy. But you can't buy him low. You have to pay up to acquire him. At the same time, I'm very happy on a contender to send away my first-round pick for him. I think, that's where conversations start, but it could be where conversations end if somebody's just kind of out and they don't think this offense is good enough. You can also offer a guy like a Torrey Horton on top, a Shimmery DK, one of these guys who are like ascending, who are younger, who people think, are going to become something. You can probably get Nico right now straight up for Oronde Gadsden because his value's through the roof. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, go out and get Nico Collins. I think he's a really nice buy low, even though you're paying him.
Yeah, their offense has been pretty dysfunctional, and it's actually interesting enough. The game, both him and Christian Kirk was like their best offensive game of the year against San Francisco. Somehow they found a way to get his all click. Ideally, he comes back. He's still that guy, which we all expect. His target rate is still good. It's like 26%. It's good. Mm-hmm. It's not the elite we're kind of looking for, but I think this has more to do with the offensive line issues that they had. So if they can kind of sort that out, get it together, give Stroud a little bit more time, give him some of those more unrealized area yards you're talking about, the plays that are there, they're just not connecting on. That's why 4 of 10 and these things are happening with them. But yeah, you're just buying into a really, really talented wide receiver. I would say he's one of, if not top 5, he's the top 10 wide receiver talent in the NFL. He can do literally everything for you. You can go down, you can do short, you'd be like yards after catch, all of those things you need a wide receiver to do. He's the focal point of your offense. So, yeah, getting him, I think, is now a buy low. It's more redraft than dynasty related because his dynasty price is still very high. He's above guys like Ted McMillan, Quinshon Judkins, those young promising names. He's above those guys. So if you're buying him in dynasty, I think you really have to pay. He's actually – we'll talk about the quarterbacks in a little bit. He's actually valued above Jackson Dart, which I think is kind of crazy to me in Superflex leagues. But that just shows you the name cachet Nico has based on who he's been and how valuable he's been. Because last year, without the injuries, he was one of the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL, and he was balling out. Then he had the hamstring injury. I think that's always just the biggest issue with him. If he stays healthy the rest of the season, you're going to be loving life with him. Let's before we dive off, what is there? Actually, let's just answer this question because I'm kind of all over the place right now. Sorry, folks. A little sick. Let's answer this question from JC Reyes. Let's do this, Jeremy. Who are you going to start? It's a pretty good group of wide receivers, or excuse me, running backs. We got Hunt at Buffalo, Rico Dowdle, who got the boost they're talking about. They're going to give him a lot more running this game. Against Green Bay, it's a tough matchup. Or are you going to go Woody Marks against another brutal matchup against Denver? Are you going to run Hunt, or are you going to want to there too?
I have to first stop. Not answer the question, but address the question. JC, thank you so much for the at Buffalo, giving us the matchups and whether it's home or away. So useful. So we don't have to dig through the schedule here. Kareem Hunt at Buffalo is my guy here. I think Buffalo is one of these Jekyll and Hyde defenses. Somehow they were able to stop. I don't remember who they played last week, but they only gave up 9 points. I think it was Carolina. They only gave up 9 points to a Carolina offense that had been decent and really kind of stifled Rico Dowdle, which made no sense because we watched him run for about 200 yards in back-to-back games a few weeks ago. Kareem Hunt with no Isaiah Pacheco, I think he's locked in for 1 touchdown. He could give you multiple touchdowns. Now, how many yards does he get you? I don't know. He might get you 20, but if he scores 2 touchdowns, then you're plenty happy with him, and I think you're much happier with him than you are with Rico Dowdle against a really good Green Bay defense and Woody Marks praying for 5 to 6 receptions against a really good Denver defense. So this is Hunt pretty easily for me, especially in half PPR. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's fine because you look at yards allowed per carry. Green Bay is below 4. Buffalo's defense has been gashed by running backs. They're getting up 5.29 yards per carry. It's a completely different world. Denver's also below 4 yards per carry. The thing with Hunt is we're not really relying on efficiency. He hasn't been efficient in a long time. They just trust him a lot. So maybe Rashard Smith takes some of those receptions out of the backfield. Possible. I don't know. He's been basically – the only game he was used was basically a blowout game where they just gave him carries at the end of the game. So I know people are talking about Rashard Smith. We need to see it from him because that game was a complete blowout last time. So he stepped in when there was nothing at the line. So I think Hunt's going to get more than enough work. They love him at the goal line because he's just a bowling ball. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think he's the safest of them. And then I would actually probably go Marks and hope for receptions if you're going to do that. I'm a little bit worried about Dowdle in that matchup against Green Bay because I just think they're going to struggle to run the ball. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. So I think we're in agreement. All right, Kareem Hunt it is, baby. I am starting Trayvon Henderson in the guillotine league over him. We'll see how that goes. It might bite me in the butt. But I can't fade him. It's hurt me. Yeah. Moaning guy. I'm sure you're moaning, hoping that it's Roshan Jamie. I hate to break it to you, it's probably not going to be.
Poor Jamie.
We all have our heart and that's what we love. All right. Do we want to move to running backs? We got quarterbacks.
Let's do this guy.
Let's do a nice segue. Okay. Why I like Jackson Dart is he's hashtag good at football is the simplest of reasons. Like when we're buying into players, even if the schedule's not their favorite, whatever it is. By the way, he has a really good schedule upcoming the rest of the season.
Yes, he does.
Just a very talented quarterback. I know he's doing it with minimal. They lost Neighbors. Theo Johnson's like the only reliable tight end they have. They're getting Darius Slayton back. They have Wandale Robinson. These are nothing special wide receivers, but they can be functional offensive players. So he has that going for him. Ever since he stepped in, if you look at his per game percentages, they are skewed by he has 2 early games where he took a few snaps. So those, like if you look at his points per game and stuff like that, it's massively not what it needs to be. Since he's taken over, I will run through his starts and how he is done. So if you look at Jackson Dart, if I can find the page, we're all over the place here again, and I lost him again. So give me a second because I need to pull it up, and I'm all over the place. All right, so let's try this again. Had it. So starting in week 4, his points per game is 20, 17, 24, 31, and 20. That's his averages per game. We're talking he's well in the low 20s. That's top 10 in the NFL per position. And then he's got matchup against Chicago, San Francisco. The Green Bay matchup is tough. Detroit, those 2. But outside of that, New England's defense does not scare me to stop him. Washington, Minnesota, and you're rounding out with Vegas in the championship. So he has 2 bad matchups. Everything else is going his way. He can kind of do what he wants. Even the last couple weeks, he has not run for much of anything. He's had 11 rushing yards and 17. Decent amount of attempts, but those defenses just don't give up rushing yards. He's been really valuable for you. So I think at the end of the day, we're just buying talented players, either the very old guys that are short-term assets, which we'll talk about the tight end coming up, or this young quarterback, Jackson Dart. And I just think we still haven't fully caught up to how good he's been. Where in his games, he's carrying this offense, which you could plug a lot of quarterbacks into this offense and they would be struggling. Like they would not be doing very well. Jackson Dart's doing above and beyond. So this is just a guy I want to kind of buy in all formats. Like we already talked about, I'll happily send Nico Collins from in Dynasty. I'll pay well more than that actually. Like I think he's pushing into like my top 7 Dynasty quarterbacks. I'm really on board with him. So in redraft, I think he's well below those elite guys, so I think you can get him for a lot less. You could send him for a mid-level, like high-end RB2. Like if we're talking about, I don't know, I'd send Quinshon Juggins for him if you needed, because I'm a little bit worried about him in redraft.
Yeah.
If you needed to do that and you need a quarterback upgrade, do that. It's a little bit easier to buy quarterbacks in redraft, so I think like it's not too hard to acquire him. Usually this team has 2 quarterbacks, so yeah. Where are you kind of at with Jackson Dart? Are you think he's a buy, think he's a sell, or where are you kind of landing on that?
Yeah, as I add Ryan to the stage, Ryan can hear me pontificate on Jackson Dart, but I'm in full agreement here. And just to kind of go back to what you were talking about through his starts, this is from week 4 on. This is in 6 point per QB touchdown pass leagues, which we know is not Jackson Dart's forte. He's been QB 11, 16, 3, 3, and 13. So Jackson Dart really starting to feel it, and he's at worst a high-end QB2 for you in Superflex leagues. If you are playing in 1 quarterback leagues, he's absolutely able to crush it. But you mentioned it, the last 2 weeks, it's Denver, it's Philly. Denver specifically is shutting down. I mean, Talafoa, I never say his first name because I don't have it, but Hufunga coming over from San Francisco has been a revelation to that defense, especially in terms of shutting down the run and rushing quarterbacks. They're able just to spy guys in the middle. You really should watch some of his tape because he's been phenomenal in that regard. But it does open up. It's San Francisco, Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, New England. You mentioned these matchups, especially in the fantasy playoffs. It's amazing. So Jackson Dart, I think, offers you at least a QB1 floor, and then the ceiling could be QB1 on the week if he can absolutely explode. Ryan, are you with us? Are you trying to buy Jackson Dart right now?
No, not quite, actually. I think I'm out in Jackson Dart. Something just doesn't inspire
Ryan,
me.
You're off the show, Ryan. You're
hate to see it. I'm trying to pull up the stat here because I'm all out of sorts. But I think he is last in on-target throw percentage. I could be wrong in that.
That's fair.
2 in Lamar below him right now. So is Caleb.
It's him or
he's
Caleb,
down there.
right?
He's 31st.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's his weapons that he has. Maybe that's the style of play. I I don't know. I need to dig in the tape more, but
Mhm.
when these QB assets start to get in that range for keep, trade, cut, or dynasty rankings, I tend to trade them away. We saw it with CJ Stroud, QB1. Obviously, that hasn't held. Jaden Daniels was QB3. That doesn't look like it's gonna hold. It's getting rocky up there, so I like this to trade away these kind of guys.
Yeah,
I think
I will say the difference is he's mobile. So you're like, even with Daniels, and if people are selling Daniels, they should absolutely buy Daniels. He's really good. But I'm much more leaning towards mobile quarterbacks. So even if they're not the best passer, they can get it on their legs. I think he has multiple outs, unlike Mr. Stroud, which we're seeing how bad it's been for him this year. So yeah, like unlike Stroud, I think he can actually give you a higher floor and potential higher ceiling than Stroud too, because he was a QB like 16 his rookie year, and people were treating him like QB1 on points per game basis. So, yeah, I think we got well out of our skis on him. So, hopefully, people aren't treating him as QB1 overall. Like, he's not Lamar or those guys, but like, I think he can be a very good asset for a very long time.
For real. Should we do some of these questions? We got Riley.
Let's do it.
Cool. Riley says start 2 between Kittle, Debo, and Kraft. Is Debo playing? Is he hurt? Is he hobbled? Debo's always hurt. If he's playing, I mean, we just talked about Jaden Daniels in this offense. I don't have the schedule in front of me. I can look it up, but I'm leaning Kittle and Kraft here. Is anyone playing Debo over these two guys?
Kraft's tough because he's so yak based in his performances. Like it's really hard to consistently trust him just because the target share is not really there. But he's just such a good player in his role. He's like what we call people call him Baby Kittle, right? Because he can do all those things. Yeah. He's got Seattle and Denver or Detroit the next 2 weeks. It's not great. So yeah, I don't mind it. I would start Kittle and then depending on the format, like if it's tight end premium Kraft, otherwise I go Debo.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go both tight ends. I'm looking for Debo Samuel. He's down at 27 in my rankings. I like Tucker Kraft and George Kittle's matchup. They have Tucker Kraft's against Carolina, Kittle's against the Giants. So they both got 2 good matchups. I'm not sure Josh Jacobs is healthy. I was explaining that in the rankings show. So I think Kraft is another big week in targets, and then Kittle is just Kittle. I think you could argue Samuel over Kittle though.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Debo is you just don't know who's going to show up, and against Seattle, I'm just concerned. I know there's some injury going on there, but you just don't want to mess with this defense if you don't have to. I think this is a situation where you don't have to. So I'm going Kittle and Kraft with those options. Jamie's got a guillotine league. This is Jesse's specialty. Jesse, who are you sitting? Big Danny Dollars, Indiana Jones, Jaden Daniels, or Jackson Dart. Jesse, who are you sitting here?
It depends on the format. So let me look that up real quick as I stammer through this. Like, I don't mind Jackson Dart's matchup at all. I am definitely going to play Mr. Jaden Daniels as long as he's healthy. So everything seems like he's lining up. I know Seattle's defense has been really stingy. It's one of the best in the NFL. I think Jaden Daniels can do it. We saw Baker actually light up the Seahawks, but it was a little bit healthy related. So I'm going to play Daniels and Dart in my rankings. I'm a little less bullish on Dart this week, even though it should be. So that's how I would go. How do you guys view these guys this week?
I mean, it's Daniel Jones week, right, Jeremy? It's Danny Dimes week.
Yeah, you're damn right. You can't not start Daniel Jones. I'm starting Danny Jones for a second week in a row in a 1-quarterback league over Drake May. It didn't work out, but it was very close, right? Daniel Jones almost got to Drake May's level of production last week, so it didn't hurt me. But this week, I'm absolutely doing it once again. And then I'm going to drop Danny Jones because I'll play Drake May rest of the season because we talked about the schedule. Against Pittsburgh, I don't care where this game. I don't care the fact this game's in Pittsburgh. Against Pittsburgh, he's going to absolutely crush. And then between Daniels and Dart, I just lean kind of not the rookie in a situation where he's losing all of his weapons left and right. So I'm probably just going to go Daniels here. I don't mind Jackson Dart this week, but I'm leaning away from him. For example, I have Dart, Goff, and Stafford in a super flex league, and I think I'm sitting Dart out of those guys because even though I feel like I have a safe high floor with Dart, I feel like the ceiling is with Goff this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm worried about the 49ers defense, the injuries they're facing right now. And we saw that's why Stroud lit them up. So I want to see come tomorrow how like who's actually playing on that team. If they're fully healthy, then yeah. But I don't mind going Dart over Daniels. The truth.
Yeah. Fair. Let's move to Tristan's here. Ryan, start 2. Who you got?
This is tough one. I want to trust BTJ so bad with the Travis Hunter news.
Let's do it.
I think I'm gonna. I mean, okay, those are 2 separate questions. I was just sorting it out there. So I would go Metcalf and Brian Thomas Jr. I think I want to sit Devontae Adams.
Ooh, spicy.
Wow. I can never
sit him.
sit Devontae Adams, but I get it.
If he doesn't get the targets in time, he's not going to get them at all.
Yeah.
That's such a good matchup.
Puka's back. Puka's back, right? And
the offense should cook.
He's going to need the first half. Otherwise, he's probably going to be sat down. BTJ, he's cleared to play. Still has the shoulder. It just didn't look good when he went down 2 weeks ago. I want to see him back on the field. He is going to play. He's the only game in town. But Parker Washington will get his standard 11 targets for whatever reason. Do we know if Brenton Strange is back, by the way? Because I think that would be interesting. After the bye, I think it's possible. I'm looking him up. No, it says he's sidelined at least 5 weeks. That was 3 weeks ago. So I guess he's still out. But yeah, I'm going to go Metcalf and Adams here. I'm sitting BTJ. I want to see it.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd sit Metcalf of these 3, but I think it's really for me personally, it's between Metcalf and BTJ and how you feel about those 2 guys.
Yeah. As for the other ones, I've got Bam over Bill. I've got May over Dak. Jesse, who you got?
Yeah, that seems like it's good to me. I like it. I'm going with those 2.
Ryan?
Yep. I can get on board with that.
Sweet. Jesse, you got another guy. Let's hit him.
Old Man River. Pull him up there.
Hang on. All right, share. Boom. Boom. All right.
So I went into the year fading Kelsey because of how people were drafting him at his price. I was worried about the fall off. We have seen this offense, and Mahomes really bounced back to who he has been previously a couple of years ago. Yeah. This is the Patrick Mahomes we've gotten this year. He's the best fantasy quarterback in the NFL right now. He's doing everything. That offense is absolutely cooking. Rashee Rice actually is doing his thing where he's been a target hog on offense. Kelsey's still getting his, and that was really my main concern to see if these 2 could operate together or if he was fully just going to take away from Kelsey. Like even last week, he got 8 targets against Washington. It was a good matchup. He got the touchdown. I'm not saying he's going to be tight end 1, but I think at his price, particularly in Dynasty, you can get him for like a third. Unless you're SC and he does not want to sell Travis Kelsey in our FFU Empire League. So SC, you want to sell him, or are you just gonna? It's the craziest thing on SC's team. He's the one old guy doing anything. It's everyone else is brand new. I'm like, dude, we gotta get rid of this guy. But other than that, I think the price wise on Kelsey, you don't have to pay that much for him. And he's gonna be a locked in back half tight end 1, if not like mid level tight end 1 for you for the rest of the season. So I like his matchups. I like that offense. There's plenty of touchdowns to go around. So worst case scenario is boom bust touchdown tight end Bennett, like tight end 1. Overall, he can push into the top 4 tight ends, I think, rest of the season. So I like what he's doing. I like what this offense gives him. The expectation fantasy points are there for Kelsey. He's still one of the highest. The target rate's not bad. The target share is fine. And he's playing enough routes. So you put it all together, like he's still top 5 in first read target share. True catch percentage is good. All the stuff is okay for him. So yeah, at his cost right now in his age, I'm buying Kelsey in all formats.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I hear you tight end 2 last week, and Noob, we see your question. Give us about 3 minutes here and we'll get to it. 6 for 8 for 99 yards and a touchdown last week. This is my problem. Washington has been horrific. The Dan Quinn defense has been god awful this season. But they play Buffalo this week, right? They're going to score a ton. Then there's a bye. Denver, Indy, not great. But Dallas, Houston, Chargers, Tennessee, and then Denver at the end. Most of those games, I think Kelsey has the ability to go off. I like the schedule. I like the targets. I'm just concerned about the touchdowns. Just 3 touchdowns. Rashee Rice is the go-to guy. I think Kelsey disappears more than we want him to. So that's my concern about this bye. And you mentioned the age. He's 36 years old. We're all assuming he retires at the end of the season. He's lost a couple of steps. He's not a yak guy anymore. He just goes down as soon as he gets hit. So these are my concerns. If you watched the Washington game last week, he had 2. Patrick Mahomes looked him off. So Kelsey had like ripped a 40-yard reception. But on the play, Patrick Mahomes looked him off twice. And he was wide open in the flat, looked to him, said, no, he checked to like 8 different dudes and then finally came back to him after 10 seconds. He's like, okay. And then Kelsey just ripped a 40-yarder because no one was around him. So I'm concerned about that. But the schedule lines up. Ryan, are you pro Kelsey or anti Kelsey?
You mean Rashee Rice, the running back?
It have to be.
I'm in on Travis Kelsey. It's one last ride for dynasty teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like the target competition has made him better.
Yep.
It was kind of a concern, but he's not getting that primary coverage that he was early in the season that was kind of, slowing him down. Rashee Rice is everywhere, as I said. Xavier Worthy feels like the guy in the back seat, honestly. It doesn't feel like it's Travis Kelsey. So I think they're going to have to throw the ball a ton. Who knows who's starting? Kareem Hunt, probably. You can only give him so many touches a game. Brashard Smith will get a few here and there, but I'm in on Travis Kelsey. If Jesse says a third, I'm fully in on a third. Those don't turn into anything 95% of the time. If you get a back end tight end one for the stretch.
Would you pay a late second on a team that's top 3 in your league for Travis Kelsey?
If I need a tight end, yes. If it's depth, no.
Yeah. If he's starting, then yeah, absolutely. Like if he's a boost in your lineup, like you're starting whoever's in that back end range, like Harold Fannin or one of those guys, like the guys that are like in the sketchy area, like I would want somebody above that. Because like Kelsey's still he's like top 4 in yards per target, he's top 6 in yards per reception. So like his ADOT's really weird, but he's getting those on the field. So it's working out for him. And yeah, I'm with Ryan. Like I think Rashee Rice raised the floor of the offense and it helps Kelsey. It takes away from him.
Yep. That's very fair. And Patrick Mahomes has been absolutely dealing this season. We expect nothing less, just like we expect nothing less from Jamie. Appreciate that comment. But Scott says she's on tour. But Scott, I don't think it doesn't tighten back up. So that's what I've heard. Fantasy football noob, what is up, man? Does Jacoby Brissett a start now? Yes, he is. He's playing Dallas. You have to start him. I think MHJ has a down day because Deron Bland might be him. He's crushing, but there's nobody else on that defense. And I think Diggs is out again. So just triple check that, but I think everybody else eats. I'm starting Jacoby Brissett in many, many places. Are you guys doing that?
Are you starting him over Stroud? Because he has potential to start Stroud. Okay. Yeah, 100%. I think that's fine. Yeah, like I got no problem doing that. Where are you at, Ryan? Where are you having him ranked for the week? I'm curious.
I just re-ranked him. I put him up to 14th.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah. But I want to ask this question. Does this make Trey McBride the rest of the season tight end 1 with all these great options? I think it might.
It could. They like the way that offense has flowed with Brissett at quarterback, like I think it actually works a little bit better. So yeah, McBride just needs those touchdowns, and I think he has the potential to get them with Brissett. So yeah, I was going to actually put McBride as my buy, but I wanted to go cheaper and go Kelsey. So, yeah, I think both of those guys should buy.
McBride has a super sweet schedule, including Cincinnati in week 17. I don't know if you can buy him, but if you can, go buy Trey McBride. Speaking of buys, is Michael Pittman a buy? Ask Jesse. He bought him a couple weeks ago. Fleeced me. Now my team's trying to compete, and I have no flexes. Damn it. Michael
you did
Pittman
a 360.
He's absolutely are you selling him high? I did.
Yeah.
Did I get a first? Because that's what I wanted.
On our deal?
Yeah,
no, we did.
I can't remember.
We basically flipped him in
Pearsall.
Pearsall, and then you threw in Ertz, and then it was like a 3-4 swap. Depends on the price with Pittman. He is old, and he's not a true difference maker. So no, I don't want to pay a first for him. I mean, as far as like accruing value, he's in a range where it's really hard for these wide receivers to accrue value in dynasty. Yeah. So that's why I was so on the buy before the season, because he was in the dumpster. Like people did not want him. And he's just a good NFL quality wide receiver. Like if you can get him for a second, sure. If you can get him for like kind of like short-term assets, I'm fine with that. But like there was a deal we saw in our Discord where it was like this guy had Bryce Young as his QB4 and he had Pittman, and this person was offering him a 26 first, a 28 first. And I was like, smash that, because you don't even need Bryce Young on your team. And the insulation from those firsts is so much better. So I think Pittman is a buy at cost. If it gets too much, he turns into a sell. I think he's very market dependent, personally.
I sold Pittman in another league and DK Metcalf for Gadsden, a first and a second in 2026. I was very happy with that deal. But to a contender, those are he's currently in first place. Yes. So that's a back end first, back end second, most likely. But I'm very happy with that, right? I still get the first. I get to re-roll on some of those older guys, and I'm trying to, I'm obviously in a rebuild. So it depends on the situation. Can you get a super late first? I think it's possible. But Ryan, are you selling him or are you holding him to hopefully compete next year?
I think you hold him. I mean, Michael Pittman's a name that's never going to be worth it as much as he actually is, because people have this stigma around him, like Jesse
People
said.
hate him.
Like
they still hate him.
Yep.
It was cool. It was cool to not like him in the offseason. And I was
Yeah.
like, Josh Downs, this is great. And Josh Downs is a good football player in his own right, but Michael Pittman is just the guy there outside of Jonathan Taylor, of course. So he's never going to be worth like a first. Like if you trade a first for him, you're never going to get that back in value.
Yeah.
But he could be worth it to your football team if you're competing right now and you need someone and, people are reluctant to trade. So it's really tough to value Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
He's even tougher now.
He's the wide receiver 7 in PPR leagues. I mentioned this to someone when I was trying to make a deal, and the guy told me this is dynasty, not redraft. And I was like, okay, but then I'm not trading him to you because you're only offering a second and a third. I'm going to pass. So I think he's a hold or a sell high if you can get that first. Or some combination of it, like I mentioned, a younger wide receiver or Pierce Hall. But ultimately, I don't mind the hold. Where are we? We're here.
I mean, it's so hard to bench Drake May. Let's be real. I don't want to do it. Yeah. It's so
do it for Danny Dimes. Well, here's my real question is I'm wondering, I'm pretty sure Bowman is out, right? He's been manning the slot, but he's been out for a couple weeks. Atlanta has been looser in the middle as a result. So that's kind of interesting. This defense has proven beatable in those situations. I think Divine Diablo is also out again. The result of those 2 injuries specifically have really hurt this defense. So I would double check that to make sure that's the case. Dak against who this week? Carolina.
He's playing Arizona. Yeah.
I'm playing Dak this week. But it's very close. Who you guys got?
I got Drake 1 spot above him, but I'm with you.
I have 1 spot above him as well. I have Drake May 5, Dak 6. So I agree with Jesse. It's close though. It's so close.
Yeah.
There's no wrong decision until after the week.
Go Dak. There's a wrong decision.
You look back.
Go Dak. Go Dak.
There's only a wrong decision on Tuesday because I think they play on Monday, don't they? Or is that
yeah.
Oh,
they play Monday night.
Jamie,
on Tuesdays then.
Kirk Cousins or Joe Milton? Who you got this week, Ryan?
I mean,
Kyler Murray.
That's the call. Yeah. This is the joy of 32 teams leagues. They're chaos incarnate. It's just nuts in those leagues. I highly recommend doing those if you're degenerate. It's nuts. I mean, who do you think gets on the field? Do you think Milton gets on the field in a blowout? Because they ain't gonna bring Cousins on the field. So unless I'll do Milton in case it's a blowout. I don't think Cousins will.
Yeah, I agree. Do Milton. Maybe he gets a quarterback sneak into the end zone.
Possible.
It's possible.
That's fair.
He's a big boy.
I'll take my 0.68 points over 0, any day of the week.
Howdy, Modern Poppy. Love the handle. I can't even read this. So Aldo says pick 1 running back and 1 flex in half. Jesse, who are you sitting?
It's probably Debo. Even though without McLaurin, his target share has been really, really good. I think Debo's safer, but you play Chase Brown and Travion. It just depends on how safe you want to go with this. If I need a lot of points, I will go with the running backs. If I want the floor, I'll go Debo and Chase Brown.
Right.
Yeah, Chase Brown's a must start out of these guys.
You have to. You have to.
Travion, it feels like Sunday night at approximately like 4:15 p.m. We're gonna be kicking ourselves because he's gonna have the coolest 4-point game ever, and Terrell Jennings is gonna score twice.
Yep.
But you gotta sit Debo. It's gross, but I expect good things for Travion Henderson. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't, but the ceiling's too high.
We're praying in the fancy gods. Yeah.
I'm sitting Debo, and like we said, Chase Brown's a must start, and you just hope that he catches 1 touchdown at least from Big Joe Flacco, who you're also starting. Modern Poppy back at it. Need to start one flex between BTJ, Tet, Woody, Henderson. Any advice? Your starting lineup looks good.
Yeah.
But guys, Ryan, who are you starting out of that group of 4?
It's BTJ. I'm going back to the well again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it.
I called it
BTJ.
What was his good week? I forget who it was. This is the week against the Raiders. He played good against the Raiders last year. He had like 10 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
I was all in on BTJ for his one good week. It was against Seattle with no DBs. That's who it was.
Yep.
I was all in there. I'm all in this week. It worked out last time, so I'm going BTJ again.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll go BTJ as well. Question: do you take out Genty because of his crazy situation and plug in Tet?
You could. I mean, Jacksonville's defense is kind of weird. If you want to take the shot, I mean, you could do Tyler Warren too. He's playing. Excuse me. So you could do Henderson if you really want to go for that gold. But yeah, I think I'm fine playing Genty. He's going to get volume at least and kill us with 4 points probably.
Yeah, agree with that.
That's what I said against Kansas City. I'm like, he's going to get the volume, and they ran 31 plays.
Yeah. 31 rushes, 46 yards.
The record of like least amount of plays offense in the freaking play clock era. So it was absurd.
Plus, it looks like he's just got 2 starting running backs, so I'd imagine he would need to switch Genty for a running back. So yeah. I think your lineup is good. Flex BTJ. We got Caden who says half PPR. Who are we sitting, Jesse?
I mean, Etienne's got a juicy matchup against the Raiders, but I'm probably gonna sit Mar.
Close. It's close.
Mar and half PPR. Yeah, I'll sit Marv. I trust Debo more than Marv this week. So even though we should be good with Marv, it's just hard to trust him, man. Sit Marv. I don't like it.
Ryan, are you sitting our every question sit here in Debo Samuel, or are you going to sit Marv too?
Yeah, I'm going to sit Debo. You know, it's tough with Marv, Brissett, and everything. I just think that they're going to get behind in that game because Dallas' offense is so good, and I think he's going to get the reps, but I could be very wrong here. Debo's in every question.
Yeah,
he's a twinner.
Yeah, you're playing your Jags for sure. I don't like Marv this week, but I will play him just in case over Debo. I just don't think there's a lot of upside with Debo, which means, of course, he scores 2 touchdowns, rushes for 40 yards. Great. Jacob says Caleb or Darnold this week, Ryan.
Caleb Williams, I have him in my home league, and every week I start him like, this is the week, and he burns me every week. And, guess what? We're going back to, it's Caleb over Darnold this week.
Yeah, they're playing Cincy. You got to play Caleb. It's Cincy, man. You got to play Caleb.
Darnold is playing Washington, and they can't cover anyone. I know Cooper Kupp is down. I feel like Caleb has the higher ceiling. I feel like Darnold's floor is so much safer. I'll go Caleb, but this one depends for me. If you need a kind of safe floor, it's easily Darnold. If you're shooting the moon, I'm going Caleb.
Yeah, because Darnold, you're right. Kupp is out this week, so is Jake Bobo for the Seahawks. So they are going to be starting wide receivers people have never heard of. It's bad. It's Horton's the number 2 guy this week, and then it's you guys want to list that wide receiver 3-4. It's brutal. It's not good. So I think they're going to try to establish the run if they can. I don't know if they can, but that's what they're going to try to do, and then feature the tight ends.
Yeah, I hear that. Flex another one. Ryan in PPR. Who are you flexing?
I got to go ETN here. I like the matchup for him, and I think that Sutton would be my second choice, and of course that Broncos game, that over-under scares me. At 35.5, it could just be a pure defensive game because both defenses are so good. So I'm going to go ETN.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you that Dobbins is definitely out. I do like Shakir in that Buffalo or in that Kansas City matchup, though. It's at least interesting to me because I wonder if they're going to be able to do anything on the outside. They usually can't.
They get torched inside.
Yeah, so I'll probably go ETM, but Shakir's interesting. Jesse?
Yeah, because the matchup for Cortland's interesting because he's going to get Stingley in Houston, and that's always tougher, right? Shakir is playing slot, and it's weird with Kansas City, to your point. They give a lot of points to slot wide receivers, so you can actually talk yourself into starting Shakir, but yeah, just go ETN. I think ETN's the safe. It's going to get volume. And we said that last week, and he gave us like 4 points. So, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me. So we'll see how this goes with the ETN, but it should be a good week for ETN. Should be.
Bashal Tootin week. Scott.
Let's go, baby. I'll be hyped.
Yeah, Terrell Jennings has a role. I don't think Terrell Jennings has a large role. Terrell Jennings is the 5-minute back, according to Mike Vrabel. He's going to get more work than kind of we expect. Travion is going to go 50-50 with him. I think Travion gets a lot of the interior runs that Ramondre got, and then they probably use Jennings in the pass game. That's not great against Atlanta. Am I starting him? In a lot of cases, I have to. 4 teams on bye. He's definitely startable this week. Do I want to start him? No, I'm worried. Everyone else worried about Travion?
How can you not be? How could you not be worried about Travion?
Well, here's the question then, Ryan. Who do you think has the better game between these two backs?
Oh, man. I'm going to say Travion, but is that like, hope or is that cope? I don't know.
No, yeah, I don't know. Jesse?
That's
Better fantasy?
Yeah, so...
I'm betting Terrell Jennings 2 touchdowns tomorrow. I'll let you know that.
The odds on that are probably really good, so I don't mind that. Yeah, they asked Travion if, do you expect a bigger role this week? And he's like, I don't even know anymore. At this point, he's like, it's hard to predict what's going on week to week. And I was like, this guy is down in the dumps. I will say everything is lining up for him this week. So like I said, I'm starting him in a guillotine league, and that's super risky, but I'm rolling with it. Will I be eliminated Sunday night? We'll find out. I'll let you know. But yeah, I got Travion in a few lineups. I like the process there. He's still a really good player. It's going to come at some point. Will it be this week? I hope. I think he can get you double-digit points this week. I think there's a pathway to that.
Yeah, that's fair. Tron Force says wide receiver room was finally good, but lost Hunter McLaurin. Damn. Nico, Olave, Devonta, Debo, not bad. Picked up Parker Washington. I like it. Do you need to trade for if you're solid everywhere else? I would say no. If you have a lot of volume at the running back position, maybe you pair one of your RB4, RB5 with Devonta or a Parker, and you upgrade a little bit at wide receiver. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think it's fine.
Yeah, the issue with this Olave, Devonta, Debo is they're all that tweener group of guys. They're solid, but none of them are likely to be a true difference maker, even though Olave is top 12 in points per game right now, which people don't want to talk about. If you're upgrading from those 3, get into the higher tier wide receivers. Go up. You don't want to get another Pittman in this group. It's the same thing. It's not going to upgrade your lineup, right? So make sure if you're upgrading, you go actually upgrading points per game. Go get a Devontae Adams because he's actually an upgrade over these guys. You know what I mean? Do something like that.
Jesse, the wide receiver 7, Michael Pittman? Is that what we're talking about? Come on now. Let's go.
I know. But it's the wide receiver 7 compared to the wide receiver 4 is a chasm, points per game. Pittman's at 15. Those guys are pushing 20. So that's what I mean. There's a lot of guys in that range.
Yeah, good point. Go get George Pickens. That's what Jesse just said. Ryan, what do you think? Who are you trading for?
I mean, if you get a difference maker, you always have to go out and do that. It's just so hard in fantasy nowadays because everyone's with either in Dynasty with the trade calculators I was talking about or in redraft, just not wanting to give up their studs because, the season's not over yet. But if you can get up there, I'm cool with, giving whatever package out of this wide receiver room. You have to give up Nico and Olave to get up to someone I wouldn't say Justin Jefferson, but because that quarterback situation is so bad. But that might be the guy you have to go up and get because you can't get the other Jamar Chases and those guys on our.
Nope, too late to get Puka.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. So I'm good with standing pat, or I'm good with going, even though Michael Pittman's wide receiver 7, I mean, add another guy like him would be the same thing. You're right. It's just you have to stand put usually.
Yeah, but everybody's hurt.
There's
right?
the top 6. Mm-hmm.
Who can you get in that top 6 right now?
I mean, if you include Rashee Rice in that group, which I think is fair to do, not including Jefferson, it's Rashee Rice, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, JSN, Puka, and Jamar Chase. That's the clear group, right? Guys. It's impossible. Jefferson's probably the easiest one to get out of this group, to Ryan's point. So if you're going to do it, you probably have to go get Jefferson. Because outside of that, everybody has a ton of question marks. It's basically Adams and, Odunze and McConkey and all those guys. So it's tough, man.
Yeah, Rashee unattainable at this point, I'd say. Modern Poppy, are we all on the Tet train over Debo?
No, actually, I think I have Debo above Tet. I need to double check, but it's close. Yeah, I have Debo over Tet. I'm going Debo over Tet.
And it's just because of the matchup. I mean, they're going to get crushed, so they're going to.
Yeah, no, like, yeah. My thought process is without McLaurin, he sees plenty of work. Like the way the offense rotates without McLaurin, like he's been fine. He's going to get featured work. The running portion of it is very all over the place. It doesn't hit, but the targets are there. Target share's there, so I'm not as worried about Debo as most people are this week.
Right.
Tet barely have him 26 and 27.
Yeah, it's not a great week for either. Debo had 11 targets 3 weeks ago, missed the Dallas game, which sucked. Just 11 targets over the last 3 weeks as a result of only playing 2 games. So, yeah, 4 for 15 and 3 for 11. A couple down weeks. You know he's going to bounce back, especially with McLaurin down. I just worry about the Seattle matchup. I'll go Tet.
It's bad.
That's a tough one.
It's tough.
Ryan, let's move on. We got through both the Jesse's guys. Let's move on to Ryan's guy. Ryan, we will do this guy, Chase Brown. Talk to us.
I mean, no one. It's Halloween, and he came back from absolutely nothing. Well, it's after Halloween, but he has revitalized the season with Joe Flacco. Everyone has, but the main reason I want to get this right when I look at it, his schedule to end the season. Like I said, I want to get it right. I can't pull it up here. He has to end the fantasy playoffs: Baltimore, Miami, and Arizona. I love that. And he has Buffalo before that, Baltimore as well, Chicago this week. He has such a great schedule. And, he wasn't efficient, but the past 2 weeks, 6.1 yards a carry against the Jets, 9.8 against the Steelers. Bringing in Joe Flacco has done an absolute ton. He had 2 touchdowns last week as well against the Jets in that high-scoring mess of a game. So things are trending up for Chase Brown, and league mates might see it's just the Jets and not believe it, but you should believe it. And the end-of-season schedule, I think Chase Brown could be a league winner. I know we toss around that term a little too much, but let's say acquirable league winner, because most of these guys are going to win your leagues. You can't go out and get like the Jamar Chases of the world, Puka Nakuas, but this is a guy that could help you win your league that you could go out and get right now at a reasonable cost.
Yeah, like I'm with you on that. I think this is why I was in on Chase Brown when the whole world was out, because that role is good. It has decreased though, and P. Ryan's playing a decent amount. So like he's not the 80% snap share guy we were hoping for. He's kind of that 60 plus. Hopefully they realize P. Ryan sucks and Brown can like build on that role back to what he was last year. Because if you're getting 70% of snaps in this offense with this lineup, like there's a pathway for him to get 20 points per game. So I'm 100% with you. I think it's a good buy.
I hear that. A bunch of people on TikTok the other day are worried about the P. Ryan role cutting in 42% of snaps. His role hasn't really changed. It's ticked up slightly, but he's still under 50%. But he was the RB12 last week because he scored a touchdown. He also had this most carries of the season, 94 yards, but they're playing the Jets. I mean, what else do you expect? One thing I will say about this team is I'm concerned about Joe Flacco's shoulder injury. I'm, in terms of limiting the offense a little bit more. I'm concerned about that schedule that you mentioned, Ryan. I have, up until a couple of days ago, felt like that's a good schedule. But the problem with Baltimore is Roquan and Kyle Hamilton are Roquan and Kyle Hamilton are healthy. They're also healthier on the defensive line. Baltimore's been limiting backs the last couple of weeks. Buffalo we saw what they did to Rico Dowdle last week. They got Ed Oliver, who's in and out. But they also have Teron Johnson, who's kind of changed the complexion of that defense. These are not great defenses still, but they've gotten a lot better. And Miami has seemingly done a 180 on defense, limiting teams the last couple of weeks, only giving up, granted it was 4 touchdowns through the air, but only giving up 28 points to Baltimore. I thought was pretty impressive as well. Chase Brown, I'm a little concerned about, but that being said, yeah, he's still a buy, and I think you can get him for relatively cheap. What are you trading him for?
In my league, in my home leagues, absolutely nothing because no one's making any moves. But I would say, if you could go out and trade a Jalen Warren for him, Jalen Warren has the role.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're going to have to do an even swap. If I could trade Cortland Sutton for him, I'd love that. But I don't know if you get that done. Olave, maybe it might be something you have to do, even though he's top 12 in points per game. The situation is, very uncertain with Tyler Shaw coming up. So maybe guys like that in that range I'd look for. I don't think you really get
fair.
2-for-1s in redraft anymore. I don't think people play that game for depth anymore. So
Yeah, it's a tough one. Jesse, who are you giving up to get Chase Brown?
I don't mind. Like, it's a lot easier to move wide receivers for running backs in the redraft. Or it's a lot harder to do that because people value running backs so much in this format. But yeah, I don't mind either like tearing down from like that range of players, the kind of mid-level RB2s we're talking about. So if you're talking about like, can you get someone still big on Genty? Can you move Genty for him like at a plus? Like to those type of players, I don't mind it. The wide receivers, it's a little bit tougher, but yeah, Olave, those type of guys, I don't mind doing that. DeMonta Smith, any one of those like mid-level back end wide receiver 2 types, like I would send Diggs for him personally. Like I'd be fine doing that. T Higgins, any type of those players like that. I think they could probably get you in that range, or maybe even Tet. Tet's a little bit dicey, but I don't mind doing that too.
Yeah, running backs we know more valuable as the season goes on, especially as these guys drop off. Like I said, I don't love this schedule as much as I did, but it's still pretty nice. But there's another guy at running back, Ryan, who you want to go out and get. And this guy's even riskier because maybe he just stays on these crappy Jets, or maybe he goes to the Chiefs. Tell us about Brees.
look, Diane Rossini tweeted out today what the ask was for Brees Hall on trade. It's a 3rd round pick. If I'm I want to give a good number here, but I don't know if I'm gonna 24 to 25 teams roughly. I'm looking up in the air thinking I'd do that. Travion Henderson, sorry, Jeremy, hasn't really worked out. I know
I'll take Brees Hall. There's no way they're trading him in.
Yeah, it's interdivision. I'm just saying in terms of draft capital wise, like these teams spend 2nd and 3rds and they don't really work out. You could spend a 3rd for a quality back in Brees Hall who's proven. That was more the example I'm trying to make. He's not going to the Patriots.
Yeah.
But looking up at his schedule coming up, he gets the bye this week, so you're not going to have him this week. Cleveland's kind of rough. New England's kind of rough. Baltimore we talked about. Miami in week 14. Jacksonville week 15. New Orleans 16, and then New England 17. Yep. Like, you might be banking on him getting traded, but he's still talented. He can still get it done in the Jets offense. It's just so bad, but I think he gets traded. Like, there's no reason for a team not to pay a 3rd round pick. The Chiefs, looking at them, obviously, with the injuries, I think a back to the 3rd round pick could be cheap for them. And the Jets have all the incentive in the world to go get a 3rd round pick because they don't have their own, because the Eagles have it in the Hassan Reddick trade from, how many years ago. So they have incentive to go out and move him to get a day 2 pick, and all these teams should go out and get him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Jesse, half PPR, where do you think Brees is ranked right now? RB what?
Oh, in scoring?
Yeah.
It's like RB 18 or something?
13. RB 13 in half PPR. Absolutely crushed last week. Was the RB 3 with 2 touchdowns. You make a move for Brees?
Yeah. I mean, I think worst case, Jets are the worst case for him. If anybody trades for him, it's going to be an instantly better situation. Because Brees' role is super weird. Yeah, like they talked. There was a couple of weeks ago. I think Ken Walker retweeted it because somebody put a post about the Seahawks potentially trading for Brees Hall, and they were just joking around in Seattle, like, why would we add another guy here?
I was referencing the Achan post. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
The Achan? Yeah, I was referencing that one.
There's you look at contenders, everybody goes to the Chiefs because they have the worst running back situation. There's not a lot of contenders that really need a running back, and I know Brees is an upgrade. His role is just weird with the Jets. Like, they don't view him as a full-on bell cow. Isaiah Davis is getting work. Like, it's strange. So I think worst case scenario, you're on the Jets. You get a mid-level RB2 with upside, like he's been this year. Like, he had the boom week last week. And then if it kind of towards the end of the season, they're like, screw it, let's just give Brees more work since we're not going to keep him, then you just do that way. So I think there's a pathway for him to be decent with the Jets and be solid for you upside. Hopefully he gets traded like Ryan's talking about, and then it's more of an upgrade and it's a better offense and they actually score a lot of points. So that's a win for him.
Yeah. Jaguars, who are 4-3. Chargers, hate that for Hampton, but I like the upgrade there in the AFC. Let me pull up the NFC contenders here.
Yeah.
He is. He should be for a while. Cowboys, right?
A
little 1-2 punch. Wasn't Brees linked to the Cowboys, guys?
He was.
Yeah, I don't know if he does the Chargers, that means Hampton's done for the year pretty much. Like that's what that tells us, right? So if they do that, it'd be fine. I just wonder how much of these teams are willing to do that because like the Cowboys, they're getting really good production out of Javonte, and like it's been like they don't need a running back in that offense, but yeah, he could boost them up. I think they need to more focus on defense. Like go get some defensive players, please.
True,
but
that's true.
That would be nice. I would love that in Dallas.
Yeah. Otherwise. No, there's I get it. A lot of teams need him, but like you said, there's a lot of contenders who are pretty set. Maybe with the Saquon injury, you can bring Brees in. I mean, we hate this for his fantasy value, but this is the thing, right? If he's traded, I don't think his situation is better because I don't think he's the guy. Because there's very few teams that are going to bring him in and immediately feature him, given their rooms. I think maybe the Jags are probably the only team that might do that. And then what are you doing? You're just putting ETN on ice for no reason? No, you're going to play him as well. So I prefer he stays with the Jets for fantasy.
Yeah, like the Vikings are the most interesting one. Their record sucks, but like they're like a win now team, right? So you could talk yourself into that, and he's definitely he definitely upgrades that room. Like,
do they have the picks though? Or was that last year?
Yeah, they really don't. They'd have to trade pieces probably.
Because I remember they traded all their picks for one of the years, and I don't know. This one, I think it might have been last one.
Yeah, well, with their defense and their quarterback situation, another team whose record is not great but could use him is Atlanta, and you just have Bijan and Brees back there and Algier, and you run the ball 45 times a game. Play good D.
Bijan's immediately asking to get traded. He said, "Fuck you." Do not do that.
Maybe.
That'd be so funny.
Good Lord.
I think Brees might be, more of a dynasty vibe, but a team that we didn't bring up that's, trying to win, we'll see how they do this weekend is the Bears with Kyle Monungai. We'll see if he shows up this week because, DeAndre Swift has been he had the bye to heal up and he hasn't healed up. Essentially, he got injured in practice. So maybe the Bears could be in as well. Maybe that's a little bit of they missed out on Travion. They go get someone that's a high quality running back.
Missed out. They missed out on Travion Henderson.
To be fair, they drafted Luther Burden with that pick, and it hasn't gone that great either. So,
yeah,
that's. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Bench one of these guys: Pickens, Pittman, Rome. Jesse.
I'm looking at rankings. I think Pickens is the lowest for me on that. I might need to change that, but. I refuse to bench Rome. Like that's the hardest one I struggle with every week.
You can't bench him.
So it's between Pickens and Pittman. I'm gonna start Pittman slightly over Pickens this week, but man, like it's really hard to bench Pickens either.
What are you doing, Ryan?
I'm benching Pickens pretty easily. Could come back and bite me. He's my wide receiver 15. I have Pittman at 8, Rome at 9. So I have those other guys up there, but I don't hate Pickens. He's just the lowest one.
Yeah, agree. We're big Danny Jones fans, and maybe that's a Javonte game, and CD just does CD things. Maybe Ferguson comes back in the fold. I agree with you. I hate that. Pickens is great, but we know he's going to be a bit more boom bust than normal. Killing you. You know what's killing me is the fact that you get to make this decision every single week, Joe. Like, these are some absolute studs, so good stuff. We appreciate you, so thank you for coming in. Are we done here? Let's be done.
I think we are. Unless you got something else.
I got nothing. Cool. We're gonna close it out. Look, it's in the chat. We got a Discord. Join it. Talk ball with us 24/7. We're around all the time. Go to Fast Draft. Use promo code FFU. Free $25 on us if you spend $25. That's all we got. We're on TikTok. We are on Instagram right now live. We are on Twitter right now live. We are on YouTube. We're everywhere. We are the Fantasy Football Universe. Jesse, Jeremy, Ryan. There's a bunch of other dudes. SC, Rich, Mike, Spencer, bunch of other guys. Jamie's got an hour to kill. Jamie, go kill it somewhere else. We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone. We're done. Goodbye.
FFU. FFU.